Let's get into our highlights. Which of these shows stood out to you as like the most compelling?
Miami was wild because they were arguing about farting on a bus, and then that one lady was like, "Listen, if I'm gonna mark your territory, I'm gonna piss on you." And the husband was like, "Hell yeah, let's go." Which, listen, I'm sex positive, okay, all right. As long as your kink ain't illegal or causing harm to people, by all means, what you do in the privacy of your bedroom is up to you. I don't give a fuck. That being said, P's weird. P's a little weird. To each their own. To each their own. If y'all are into piss, then no, go ahead.
I'm not defending piss per se, but to me, that was not the takeaway from that scene. It was that they like to shit next to each other on double toilets. That was like...
You know what? I was so distracted by the piss that I completely just bulldozed past. Like, oh, you know what? It's funny. I actually just got into an argument about this. I was like shooting the shit with some comics, and we were talking about being comfortable with your partner. And like most women I've dated have been, no matter how long we've been dating, no matter how comfortable they are with me, still refuse to fart in front of me, and will like be like, I've never farted in front of you, and still try to hide it. And I'm like, just fart in front of me. It's not like a kink thing. I'm not like, let me get at it. It's just more like, I don't know, I want my girl to be comfortable, and to be comfortable, that doesn't include standing up to go to the other room to fart. Like, just do it here. We'll laugh about it. We'll keep it moving. And then that turned into like, because one comic, she's married, so she was talking about how she's like definitely like taking a shit, and her husband has come in, and then vice versa. And another comic was like, that's disgusting. I would never let like my person like come in while I'm taking a shit. I would never shit with the door open, all of that stuff. So like, as much as I'm comfortable about the farting, like I close the door when I shit out of respect. You know, my mother raised me right. Shitting at the same time in toilets next to each other, like I want to hate, but at the same time, I feel like that's because I'm poor and I can't afford to have two toilets in the same bathroom next to each other.
Oh no, you just put them like facing each other with a nice like chessboard in between, and you're set for an afternoon.
Oh no, not a chessboard. Like when you go to those bars and they have the arcade tabletop, where you get to play Pac-Man and put your drinks on top. It's that's if you have that in your bathroom, then I'm on board. I'll shit in front of my girl with that. Yeah.
So I guess we're starting with Miami then. Aside from the double toilets, what were your highlights?
So I won the celebrity basketball game because I love I love basketball period, but then I love celebrity basketball games because they usually have celebrities who have no business playing sports.
Yeah.
Play sports. And that's not a dig against the Housewives. That's no matter the gender. They will often have people doing these all-star games where it's like like, there's definitely sometimes, like, for example, like Quavo is known for being good at basketball. And that's like, okay, now we're watching a real basketball game. But when they get, like, the local weatherman to, like, play basketball, like, it's no one asked for this, but it's also funny. So seeing all of these women fresh after having a verbal Royal Rumble and then bully, I forget who it was, but they bullied that one woman while she was just like, okay, don't get me wrong, like bullying is bad, but like if everyone in the room is talking shit about you and you're not going to say anything back, why would you stay in the room?
Yeah.
Like, why not just leave, go to the water fountain, like go to the concessions, something. So the basketball game was entertaining because it was very much, you could tell like no one was good at basketball, but you can tell that those who were competitive weren't going to let that stop them. From trying to win the game.
You had a Pippen you had a Pippen there, you had a Jordan there, and they like neither of them were the most talented athlete in the room. The most talented athlete in the room actually wasn't even on the court because Martina Navratilova was sitting on the sideline, who's a tennis legend. But yeah, it was really interesting to see like Adriana not do anything when she was being bullied at all. I think one of the things that is kind of unique about shows like Housewives or even competition reality shows like The Bachelor or Big Brother, more like is a show that I'm more familiar with, is when you're in that situation, as a person, you would think that you would have the instinct to leave, but like as a game player, you don't want to forfeit any potential leverage that might come out of that situation. Like, you know, you want to know what information is going around the room about you or whatever. And like Adriana's been doing this for a long time. And for some reason, she's not like a full blown housewife. She's just considered like friend of, which is the tier below housewife. But like she knows what she's doing. She plays like she plays dumb, but she like plays the game hard.
You know what? Shout out. That's a good point. Shout out to her for knowing if I leave the room, I don't get screen time. And if I don't get screen time, my check is going to be smaller. So you know what? I'm not going to judge her anymore, because would I let myself get bullied if it meant I was going to get a fatter check from a TV network?
Yeah.
I am man. Oh shit. Yeah. It really. Oh, I didn't realize that's Larsa Pippen.
Yeah.
Did you not recognize her?
Yeah. No, like I honestly, it didn't click in my head.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Oh shit. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna start watching Miami, because Larsa Pippen, I want to do like a thesis on her, because she is the most unhinged person I could ever know. So that's
and she's dating Michael Jordan's son now, which is
don't even get me started on that. Do they cover that on this show?
Yeah, he was there. He was coaching her team for the celebrity basketball.
That was
game.
him?
Yeah, that was him.
Okay. Clearly I'm exposing I have ADHD and I wasn't paying attention to the little details. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Yeah, I do want to just follow on like what you said about Adriana. And she did actually leave at one point, which was really I thought she like picked her moment to leave, which was like at the very tail end of the episode when everyone was singing happy birthday to Alexia. She decided to leave, and she made sure to get like a little zinger in there so that she still got the camera time. She's looking in the mirror and being like, oh, I'm saving my vocal cords for Emilio Estevan. I'm not going to sing for Alexia, which like, it was funny, but like, it seemed like a very like strategic way to like leave, but still like bring the scene with her.
Yeah. Really,
really love her kind of, you know, awareness that she is great at downplaying.
So I have a question for y'all. Because with The Bachelor and Bachelorette, it's known for producers stepping in and manipulating things to create drama because they don't know how to cast well. So because of that, they have to create drama instead of just casting naturally messy people. So because of that, like, there's a lot of moments where you can tell, like, okay, this is drama, but this is so clearly the producers stepping in and causing some shit. So then that way they have some sort of content for the show. For Housewives, is there producer manipulation, or are all of these women just so naturally messy that the producers don't really got to step in like that?
Well, it's definitely both. There is definitely an element of like producers stepping in and manufacturing drama. But one advantage that Housewives has over something like The Bachelor or any reality show where you've got, you know, not a lot of returning people is that, you know, most of these personalities have, you know, seasons in front of the camera, and they like know how to play the game a little bit. I think I think when you see a season with like a brand new cast, that's where you can kind of see the
producer manipulation.
In a lot more of a raw form. Like, we just got the Real Housewives of New York rebooted, so brand new, fresh cast. And, you know, there was like things that felt really like situations that seemed like they were forced together, and a lot of the drama, like you mentioned about like season 1 of Salt Lake City, it's pretty like low stakes and stuff like that. And so you can see what the producers are doing a little more transparently there. But after that, like all these women will have existing relationships with each other, and they've got all that context built up. So the producers don't need to do that as much. They can still, lead things and construct, situations where a confrontation will happen, but the interactions are so much more loaded at that point because, the cast knows how to play the game. They know like kind of their style of how they want to try to, tell their story throughout the season. They're a bit more like their own storyteller. Some are like way better at it than others. Some are very good at, self-producing or just letting their personality navigate the situations and just like roll with the punches of whatever comes from that season. But it's definitely a mix, and producers definitely have a hand in manufacturing things.
So the reason why I asked that is because they're like so expertly in all of the episodes that I saw, there will be a moment where it seems like things die down or whatever. And just every time there's always, so I'm noticing like every time what will happen is, hey, let's go do this thing together. Even though I know this girl hates that girl, let's just all do it because it's either A, my birthday, B, I just did something that I want to celebrate, C, some other reason where it's like we need to get together to celebrate X, Y, and Z. And then they get together, and then it's always like, I don't want to come, but I'm going to come because you told me that bitch is going to apologize to me. And then they show up, and everyone's like all like doing their very like almost like US Russia Cold War. Like I'm here because y'all told me to be here, but the second they go off, I'm gonna go off. And then one person starts it and it's always out of nowhere. They start some shit, and then they yell back and forth. And then there's always one person in the group who didn't want to be there at all. And they're just kind of just like eating popcorn, just watching the shit go down. And then finally, when things seem calm, there's always one girl who's either related to the drama or a part of the drama or unrelated at all, who does the little, we're almost like stepping in the room and going, hey, but remember, she says some shit about your feet too. And then just like steps out. And it's just like, it's so, every time I've seen it, it was just so expert of like, we just achieved peace. We were almost there. And then one of y'all just came in with like a grenade and just exploded some shit. And just truly, that's why I asked. Cause it's like, oh, it was like so expertly where I'm like, is that a producer telling them to come in and say some shit? Or is that on their own? And I hope it's them on their own, because if so, that's Hall of Fame mess right there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's both. Like some of the housewives, you can tell that they're just really good at stirring things up because they're always the one to do it, and they always know exactly what to say to like set a situation off. Giselle on Potomac is great at that. I think Whitney on Salt Lake City is typically like very good at that. Tamra is like a master at it on Orange County. So yeah, I think there's definitely sometimes where the person that says that is like, it feels like it's coming out of left field because they're not that type of housewife. And so it's like, okay, they got fed this by the producer, but for the most part, it's them, the casting team, doing a great job of making sure they've got a good mix of personalities that are able to, do the bidding of, or do the like stirring shit up.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Did you have any other highlights from Miami?
Honestly, the fart bus rumble and the basketball game and the whole peeing on, like they just, and that's the thing, they just threw in. I don't know if that was already a big storyline in a previous episode. So if it was, my bad. But like they just threw in the whole "I'll piss on you if I want to mark my pet territory" and then just carry on with the episode as if that wasn't like, hold up, hold on, let's go back. Those were really the two things that like really stood out to me from the episode.
Yeah, Chris, one thing that you mentioned about like Todd, how like freely he was like offering up, you know, how excited he was at the prospect of being peed on. One thing that like stood out to me about that is Todd has always come across as, you know, on a lot of these reality shows, you have these guys, like straight men are always feeling like awkward in front of the camera being on these shows specifically because, you know, they're like female coded or whatever the reasoning behind that is. And he's definitely like one of those guys that is like, has that kind of air about him where he thinks he's like better than this content and like very like closed off as a result. And for that to be the one thing where he's like, you know, being like, yeah, actually, I'm like super into this. Like that's how he's like being vulnerable in this situation is just like so funny to me that like he's clearly someone that is like picking and choosing like what element of his personality is something that is going to like best perform his masculinity, and that was what he chose.
It was very funny because he was also like at one moment he went on that whole rant where he was just like, they're talking shit about my family and then you expect me to just break bread with them, and he's talking about it like he's talking in this tone like it's a scene straight from Godfather where he found out like someone murdered his like cousin nephew or whatever. And like it's just like, bro, you like why you acting above this? All right, you getting a check. I know you a capitalist, you rich, so just shut up, get your check, smile for the goddamn camera, and just stop acting like you better than this, because you ain't. If you were truly better than this franchise, you would have told your wife we ain't doing this franchise. But you saw a check and you get in it. So like it is wild that guy the whole time trying to be like, I'm above this, and he's just like, hey, hold up. First and foremost, I want y'all to know your boy has money. Second off, my wife, she's fucking hot. Third of all, she's younger than me. Don't look at the age difference. Fourth of all, I like getting pissed on. I need y'all to know that. All right, good night. And I love how that came out. And like, what does he do for business? Like, what's his career?
I don't know what his career is actually. Sandy, do you?
No, I don't.
Sandy, what were your highlights from Miami?
My highlights were Adriana being really mad about the people talking about her in the bathroom. The quote was, they spew their poisonous venom like vipers. I really liked that, especially considering it was talking about just repeating the information that she told them she was flatulent. As far as Julia's opera storyline, I'm super not into it because I only want a medium bad singing storyline if it's paired with a delusional attempt at a musical career. So this is way too sincere and sweet, and I'm not enjoying it.
No, I love it. Oh man, it is like that was a highlight for me, is the fact that Julia is pursuing this career, because it's like she chose something that is so unattainable. Like she didn't just choose to sing something like medium difficult. She chose opera, and something that is like you either have it or you don't. And if you do have it, you need years and years of training in order to finesse it. And so the fact that like she chose that is pure insanity. And the scene that we got where she was performing this song in like Adriana's tiny little piano room, like no shade, I don't have a piano room, so but like her tiny room where they're like all squished into this one corner, and Adriana is like very seriously like playing the piano and very focused, and then we've got this guy who is like clearly a very talented singer, not like he's not coming off that great, but he like you know, he's clearly way more talented than Julia, and to get that as like this benchmark that she can't hit, and this awkward room, I thought it was beautiful.
I wish I had that level of self-confidence that I could just be like, I could pick up opera singing. Like, yeah, like I could do that. Like, just no training, no expertise, no talent, or at least no like talent in the sense of I know this is some shit that I can do. I truly, if I had that level of just delusional self-confidence, sky's the limit of how much further in life I'd probably be, because to just think that's something, because like you said, opera singing, that's shit that like, it's not just you can sing, like that's like you have a distinct niche singing talent that most people who can sing can't do. So the fact that she's like, yeah, I'll just pick up opera singing, like how hard can that shit be, is just honestly inspirational.
I feel like confidence is like squandered on the worst people, like the people that just get like so like confident that they're gonna be like, you know, whether it's like opera or like stand-up comedy, it's just like, or anything really, like it's just like the worst schmucks think that they're going to just step into it, be a natural, and like, you know, take off and just be I don't know, it's the worst. It's like if I were to be like, oh, I'm going to be in the Olympics next Olympics for gymnastics, and like just start training right now.
It's legit. Shout out to this show. It's no longer on TV. It hasn't been on TV for a long time. They need to bring it back. Joes versus Pros. I don't know if they had
I remember
that in
that
Canada,
name,
but it was literally where they would get like regular ass dudes who would be like, I could play for the Lakers. Like I could play better than fucking Anthony Davis right now. And they're just like, okay, all right, bet. Here you go. You're going to play against real pros in this sport. And spoiler alert, the Joes usually never win. They rarely won. It was like this, or the same as like when that one show where there would be like a bully of a school. So then they had the bully fight a professionally trained like UFC fighter.
A professional bully.
And it was just like, I forget what that one was called, which honestly in hindsight is like hilarious that America was like, what if we made a TV show where we took school bullies and had them fight like Conor McGregor or some shit like that. Yeah, we got to bring more of that shit back, but it was basically that same vein of like, I could do this, and then and it's like no one's gonna tell them, no one's gonna tell her that maybe pick a different lane.
Yeah. Sandy, did you have any other highlights from Miami?
No, those were my top ones.
Cool. I think we covered most of what I wanted to talk about for Miami. I do want to just briefly touch on the scene that we got with Lisa and her new boyfriend, Jody, like her bringing the kids around and being like, oh yeah, I've introduced them as like Uncle Joe. They probably think he's gay. Like it's no big deal. And then we just got this really kind of awkward family moment there that she was trying to like make happen. I don't know. Jody comes across as like a little bit of a I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. There's no evidence that he's a loser, but he just gives off loser vibes.
Yeah.
But he was really trying his best, and the unicorn looked trash according to Lisa's son. So just a really funny scene to me.